They walk among us, radiating warmth, wisdom, and an almost magnetic presence that draws people in. Their energy is undeniable, a force that uplifts and inspires. People call them healers, guides, beacons of light. Their presence feels like sunlight breaking through the darkest clouds, a reminder that something beyond the ordinary exists. But there's something few ever talk about. Beyond the glow, beyond the kindness and the serene aura, lies another side. One that is rarely acknowledged but impossible to ignore. Highly vibrational people are not just embodiments of peace and love. Their energy, so powerful in its brilliance, casts a shadow just as deep. They are not harmless. They are not to be underestimated. This is not about malevolence or cruelty. It's about power. True, unshakable, undeniable power. The kind that does not tolerate deception, that does not bow to manipulation, that does not entertain toxicity. They see through illusions. They dismantle falsehoods with a glance. And when they are crossed, the consequences are swift and often unavoidable. People speak of them as if they are only light, as if they exist solely to uplift and heal. But light, in its purest form, does not only comfort, it reveals. It burns away facades. It exposes everything, whether one is ready to face it or not. And that is where their presence shifts from soothing to unsettling. Some will admire them. Some will fear them. Others will try to manipulate them, only to find themselves entangled in a force far greater than they anticipated. Because when highly vibrational people step into a room, they don't just bring light, they bring truth. And truth, for many, is the most terrifying force of all. This is the side no one talks about, but it's time to understand it. Some people move through life believing they can act without consequence. They manipulate, deceive, take from others without a second thought, certain that their actions will fade into the void, unnoticed and unpunished. They rely on time, on distance, on the idea that karma is slow, that the universe takes its time to balance the scales. But there are individuals who disrupt that cycle. Highly vibrational people don't just exist in harmony with universal energy. They amplify it. And when someone wrongs them, the return isn't slow. It's immediate. It's sharp. It's undeniable. At first, the one who acted in malice may brush it off. A small inconvenience, a sudden stroke of bad luck. But then it escalates. Doors that were once open slam shut without warning. Relationships fracture. Opportunities evaporate. The same energy they projected returns to them in waves, faster and more intense than they ever expected. It's not because these highly vibrational people seek revenge. They don't have to. The universe responds to them in real time. Their energy is like a mirror, reflecting back every intention, every action, with amplified force. Some call it divine justice. Others call it cosmic retribution. But those who cross them call it something else, a reckoning. And by the time they realize what's happening, it's already too late. Some people survive by feeding on others, not physically but energetically. They enter a room and drain it, pulling life from conversations, stealing vitality with negativity, drama, and manipulation. They thrive in chaos, leaving others exhausted, depleted, and uncertain of why they feel so drained after even the shortest interaction. With most people, this tactic works. They take what they need and move on, leaving behind emptiness in their wake. But there is one kind of person they cannot feed on. One kind of person who does not shrink, who does not weaken, who does not allow their energy to be stolen. Highly vibrational individuals are not just immune to energy vampires. They reverse the flow entirely. At first, the energy vampire might not realize what's happening. They engage in their usual games, expecting to siphon energy like always. But something feels different. The person before them isn't reacting. Their negativity isn't being absorbed. The words meant to provoke are met with stillness, with an unshakable presence that doesn't bend or break. And then, something even more unsettling occurs. They feel drained. The longer they stay, the weaker they become. The roles have shifted. What was meant to be an easy extraction has turned into an unexpected depletion. Because highly vibrational people don't just repel negativity, they transmute it. They take what was meant to weaken them and transform it into something else, something purer, something that cannot be used as fuel by those who thrive on toxicity. For the energy vampire, this is a nightmare. Their usual tactics are useless. Their source of power becomes a source of loss. And for the first time, they are the ones walking away empty. Being in the presence of a highly vibrational person feels different. There's something about them, an unshakable calm, an unwavering presence, that makes every interaction feel more real. Words hold more weight. Silence stretches longer. The air itself seems charged with something unseen yet undeniable. And then it happens. Something deep within stirs. A feeling rises. Uncomfortable, unexpected. Maybe it's insecurity. Maybe it's buried resentment. Maybe it's a truth long denied. Whatever it is, it refuses to stay hidden. It surfaces raw and exposed, as if the very energy of this person is pulling it out from the depths. Highly vibrational individuals don't just exist in the world. They reflect it. Their presence is a mirror, not of the external self, but of the internal one, the version often masked, ignored, or suppressed. Standing before them is like standing before one's own soul, stripped of its disguises. For some, this is a gift. It offers clarity, growth, a chance to confront what was once avoided. But for others, it's unbearable. The reflection is too sharp, too honest. Defenses rise, anger flares. The need to blame, deflect, or escape becomes overwhelming. But the mirror doesn't break. It doesn't distort. It simply stands unwavering, revealing everything exactly as it is. And the hardest truth of all? The discomfort doesn't come from them. It comes from within. Words can deceive. Tone can be controlled. Expressions can be rehearsed. Most people navigate life weaving small deceptions. Some harmless, some calculated, some designed to manipulate. In a world where appearances matter more than authenticity, lies often slip by unnoticed. But not with them. Highly vibrational people don't just hear words. They feel them. They pick up on the slight hesitation before a sentence is spoken, the subtle shift in energy when truth is bent. A perfectly crafted lie may sound flawless to others, but to them, it lands with a dissonance that cannot be ignored. It starts subtly. The liar might feel an unexpected nervousness, as if something in the air is pressing against them. A simple question, calm, direct, unravels the story, thread by thread. The weight of their gaze makes dishonesty unbearable. There is no accusation, no aggression, just an undeniable presence that demands truth. And then the silence, a silence so pure, so unyielding, that the lie suffocates within it. The mask slips, the facade cracks, and before the liar can even grasp what's happening, the truth is out in the open, undeniable and exposed. Highly vibrational people don't chase deception. They don't need to. Lies collapse in their presence, not because they seek to destroy them, but because their very existence refuses to hold space for anything but truth. Some people command attention without ever asking for it. They don't shout to be heard. They don't fight to be seen. Yet the moment they enter a space, everything shifts. Conversations take a different tone. The energy in the room realigns. Even those who don't believe in such things can feel it. An unspoken force, subtle yet undeniable. Highly vibrational people don't control others. They don't manipulate, demand, or seek dominance. Their power lies in something far more effortless. Their presence. Authentic, unwavering, untouched by external noise. They move through the world with a frequency so refined that those around them can't help but respond. Some are drawn in, captivated by an energy they don't quite understand. They seek their approval, their guidance, their company, hoping, perhaps, that some of that radiance will reflect onto them. Others react differently. They resist, challenge, or even resent them, unsettled by the way their very existence forces unspoken truths to surface. But whether admired or feared, welcomed or rejected, one thing remains constant. They change things, without trying, without speaking, without lifting a single finger. Because real power has nothing to do with force. It has everything to do with presence. Most people hesitate before walking away. They linger in toxic friendships, endure draining relationships, keep doors cracked open just in case. They tell themselves it's kindness, loyalty, patience. But deep down, it's fear, the fear of finality, of being the one to sever the cord, of accepting that some ties are meant to be broken. Highly vibrational people don't share that hesitation. When they sense a connection is no longer aligned, when dishonesty, manipulation, or toxicity seep in, they don't waste time. There are no drawn-out arguments, no dramatic confrontations. Just a shift, subtle but absolute. One moment they are present, the next they are gone. No lingering resentment, no second chances, just silence where they once stood. For those left behind, the cut is disorienting. It feels sudden, ruthless, almost unfair. They look for explanations, try to reopen doors that no longer exist. But highly vibrational people don't look back. Their energy does not dwell in what was. It moves forward, unburdened, unattached. This isn't cruelty. It's survival. A deep knowing that not everyone is meant to stay, that not every bond serves the soul. And when the decision is made, it is not just an ending. It is erasure. Change rarely comes gently. It doesn't knock politely or wait for permission. It crashes through, appending everything that once felt stable. The beliefs once held as truth begin to fracture. The relationships once seen as unshakable begin to shift. The world itself feels different, not because it has changed, but because something deeper has awakened. Highly vibrational people carry this effect wherever they go, not because they force transformation, but because their presence demands it. Their energy acts like a signal, stirring something long buried within those around them. Suddenly, the excuses that once felt comforting no longer make sense. The patterns once lived without question feel unbearable. The truth, raw, unfiltered, becomes impossible to ignore. For some, this is liberating. A door to growth, to healing, to a version of themselves they never knew existed. But for others, it is chaos. The mind resists, the ego fights, comfort turns to discomfort, then to anger, then to blame. Anything to avoid the inevitable realization, the problem was never external. It was always within. Highly vibrational people don't create this storm. They are simply the catalyst. And once the process begins, there are only two choices: resist and suffer, or surrender and transform. But either way, there is no going back. Some people are drawn to them instantly. There's something about their presence, undeniable, magnetic, almost otherworldly. It's not about looks, charm, or status. It's something deeper, something felt rather than seen. People seek them out, craving their energy, their wisdom, the way they make everything seem clearer, lighter, more real. But not everyone welcomes them. For some, highly vibrational people are unsettling. Their very existence disrupts illusions, challenges facades, makes it impossible to hide behind half-truths and carefully crafted masks. Those who rely on deception, on control, on maintaining a false sense of power, see them as a threat. Not because they attack, but because they illuminate. This is why reactions to them are so extreme. They are either deeply loved or intensely resented, admired or avoided. People either feel safe in their presence or exposed, as if standing under a light too bright to escape. There is rarely indifference. Highly vibrational people do not choose how others respond to them. They simply exist as they are. But in doing so, they force a choice in everyone they encounter. Face the truth they reveal or turn away, fearing what might be seen. The world loves to paint things in absolutes, good or bad, light or dark, positive or negative. People crave simplicity, the comfort of knowing exactly where something or someone belongs. But true power has never been that simple. Highly vibrational people are often seen as pure light, beings of peace and wisdom who exist only to uplift. But that is only half the truth. They are not just light, they are balance. They do not exist to be endlessly kind, eternally forgiving, or universally accepting. Their strength comes from understanding both creation and destruction, both healing and boundaries, both compassion and consequence. Some mistake their gentleness for weakness, unaware that beneath the warmth lies something unbreakable. Others assume that their ability to cut ties, expose lies, and accelerate karma makes them harsh or merciless. But neither perception captures the full picture. Their power is not in choosing one side over the other, it is in mastering both. To embrace true light, one must understand darkness. To hold true wisdom, one must face the depth of shadow. The strongest energy is not the one that denies its duality. It is the one that integrates it fully. And this is the truth about them. They are not just beacons of positivity. They are forces of nature, not because they try to be, but because they are.